forging ahead with CO3, which is using something called the midpoint formula. Okay, the midpoint formula. This applies to, how would you possibly already have a question? Yes, Evan?
Are we the only class with a point?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
So we are going to be talking about segments. And segments, as you know, have a beginning and an end. And if something has a beginning and an end, it also has a
Start.
middle.
Start.
Okay, because if something can be measured, it's got a center, it's got a middle. So the midpoint is the middle point of a segment. The point that divides the segment into two congruent parts. Okay? Or two equal measures. We want to use both terms there. Okay? And so there's a formula for it, and that formula is x1, this probably brings you back to slope days, x1 plus x2 divided by 2.
Ew, why did I put a P for plus?
I don't know. And y1 plus y2 divided by 2.
It's just a midpoint.
So,
Wait, is that what?
the question was asked, why is there a comma? Okay, and then someone says, is it an ordered pair? And the answer is yes. The reason why there's a comma is because this is an ordered pair. If we are going to find the midpoint of a segment, we need to know what the coordinates of the endpoints are. Okay, so if you kind of look down here in the examples, we've got point A and point B. Point A is 2, negative 3. Point B is at negative 5, 6. We are looking for an ordered pair. Where on the segment that can be plotted on the coordinate plane is the midpoint of that segment going to be? Okay? And so you kind of look at this formula and it starts to make sense here. Okay? What happens when you add two numbers together and divide by 2? What are you finding?
The average.
The average. The middle. Right? If we have our two x coordinates of the two endpoints of a segment, we find the average of those two. That'll give us the middle x coordinate. The x coordinate of the midpoint. Likewise, if we take the average of the y's, that'll give us the average y, the middle y, the y coordinate of the midpoint. Okay, so this formula is pretty straightforward as far as what it gives you, and you're going to find that middle point of the segment. Questions so far? All right. We just get to practice this now for a little bit. Okay? Here we go. 2, negative 3, and negative 5, 6. Here's our x1, y1, x2, and y2. Using the midpoint formula, we're taking x1 plus x2, which is 2 plus negative 5. And then we're taking y1 plus y2, which is negative 3 plus 6. And we're dividing both of those by 2.
I get 3, 2.
X.
Okay? So the x coordinate of our midpoint here, 2 plus negative 5 is negative 3 over 2. Negative 3 plus 6 is positive 3 over 2. So if we were to plot this on the coordinate plane, our midpoint would be at negative 3 halves and positive 3 halves. Don't do this on the coordinate plane below, but I'm just going to show you just to prove to you this works here. Point A is at 2, negative 3, so that's going to be right here. Point B is at negative 5, 6, so that's going to be up here. Okay? And the middle of this segment, the midpoint of this segment, we calculated to be negative 3 halves, positive 3 halves, which is essentially negative 1.5, positive 1.5. That's going to put it right here. If you look at that blue dot, that's in the middle of the endpoints. Right? Why is it in the middle? Because, why it's in the middle of the box because negative 3 halves or negative 1.5 is like right here, right? And then positive 1.5 on the y is like right here. or a little bit below 2. So when I plot those points, it ends up being right in the middle.
Okay.
It has to do with that half part of it. Okay? So you believe me this formula works? No? We didn't know.
Yes.
How could you not? Okay?
This is really little.
I believe in guess and check.
Does it work for all points?
Oh, that's a question.
Sorry? Does it work for all points?
I was just joking.
Yes, the answer is yes. Yes. Okay. Next one. Just bigger numbers. We can't plot this one on the coordinate plane, and so we just have to trust. But in our formula,
That's what Peter was.
we've got negative 17 plus 14 divided by 2. Then we have negative 31 plus negative 8 divided by 2. Well, that's nifty. Negative 17 plus 14 is negative 3. I promise you the x value won't always be negative 3 halves.
I'm quoting.
I think it,
Or,
I think it always.
But then negative 31 plus negative 8 is negative 39.
first one.
And so we have negative 39 over 2 for our other ordered pair.
See you plot that.
Okay.
Plot that right.
I cannot plot that on this, no. Our coordinate plane only goes out to 10.
It doesn't work, I
Doesn't
don't
work?
believe it. You don't work?
You have to trust me.
I think you
Put
should
some
just
faith in me.
decrease the
Hey,
value.
Are you supposed to like simplify like any of it? Cause
you could, I mean, since we're only divided by 2, your decimal is 0.5. Typically, you don't simplify fractions or write them as decimals if it's going to be a nasty one. These you could, but whatever.
cause you can 39 and 3 by 3. And then
Oh, you can't simplify the 3 and the 39 because they're not part of the same fraction.
How do you plot that?
It's easier to plot a fraction if you think of it like a decimal. So like if your fraction, like on that one previously, 3 halves is 1.5. So recognizing the y-axis is like a number line, right? If I want to plot negative 3 halves, positive 1 half, negative 3 halves on x, negative 1.5 is halfway between negative 1 and negative 2. Positive 3 halves is 1.5, halfway between positive 1 and positive 2. And where those two things meet for the point would be like right in the middle of that box.
Wait, so it's always gonna be like a half, so it's always.
Not always. If your numerator's even, then you would divide by 2 and get what the actual number is. Like if it was negative 40 divided by 2, then you would do that and you get negative 1. My and B. What's the rest of your question?
Stop saying my MB. It's
Why?
MB, not
No,
my
I'm
MB.
owning it.
My
It's
bad.
not your
Let
MB,
me-
it's my MB. I'm
let me
owning
just
it.
mind
My
bad.
bad.
My bad.
Owning
It's MB.
my bad.
You're saying
My-
my bad.
Yeah, it's my bad. I'm owning the bad.
Oh.
My
You
MB.
already said right.
I'm owning it.
My CJ.
Is there still
No,
bad?
he's owning his
And
my
I
bad.
don't understand where you get it.
He's owning his my bad.
Yeah, I'm owning it.
It's his my
I'm
bad.
not trying to pawn it off on someone else.
It's not my bad, it's my bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
No
See?
bad.
Tim gets it.
No,
That makes
Mario
sense.
gets it.
My bad.
Surely there's a part of you that's always wanted to be an architect. Design a town on the coordinate grid below. We're all going to do the same thing just to make our answers the same. Otherwise, it gets really good. Your town should include a library, which is point L at 3,6. So at 3,6, go ahead and plot your point L. There's your library there. Remember, x value comes
Ooh,
first.
I put it in the wrong spot.
Oops, you do. Fix that.
Oh, yeah.
Your MB, right?
Yeah, my.
Point C, the church, goes at negative 9,4. So negative 9,4, negative 9 on x, 4 on y. There's your church, point C. Gotta have a school at 0,8. So 0,8. Here's our point S. Here's our school. And City Hall, point H at 5, negative 4. So 5, negative 4 goes right down here. Here's point H. Okay, so those 4 points should be on your coordinate plane in those exact spots.
Yep.
Okay? And then you have 3 questions to answer about it. It says, what is the midpoint between the library and the school? So the library is at point 3,6. The school is at point 0,8. And so going to our midpoint formula, where we're going to add the x values and divide by 2, So 3 plus 0 divided by 2. Add the y values, divide by 2. 6 plus 8 divided by 2. That gives us, again with the 3, maybe it is always a 3. 3 plus 0 is 3, divided by 2 is 3 halves, or 1.5. And 6 plus 8 is 14.
7.
Divided by 2 gives us 7. And I want you to actually plot this, right? 3 halves 7 is going to be 1.5, so halfway between 1 and 2 on x.
Alright.
And up on 7, that is smack dab in the middle. Okay?
So it's 7.
Not 1 half, 1 and a half. 3 halves is 1 whole and then another half.
Mr. Schultz.
Yeah, that's really good.
I love this.
Yeah. Smack dab in the middle. Okay? What is the midpoint between the church and the city hall? The church is at -9, 4. City hall is at 5, -4.
Wait.
And we play the game again.
What's 0 to 2?
-9 plus 5 divided by 2.
Wait, that's
4 plus -4 divided by 2.
That equals 0.
-9 plus 5 is -4.
2.
-4 divided by 2 is -2.
-2, 0.
4 plus -4 is 0. 0 divided by anything is 0. So
Except 0.
-2, 0.
So we go -2. That's it. Move over 0.
Okay? Now, again, how we can prove
Wait, that's not something.
how we can prove that this is in the middle is if we calculate the slope down 4 over 7, down 4 over 7, that slope matches.
That's so cool, Mr. Schultz.
Thank you.
We could have just drawn
Do we have
a
book
line.
over two?
You will.
We could have just drawn
Okay.
a line.
Anyone have any questions on this here? Is it making some pretty good sense?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I love this.
Who likes geometry more than algebra?
Wait, wait.
Who likes geometry more than algebra?
It's pretty easy. I like 3 over 2.
Finally, the school,
I like 3.
I like math too.
church,
We were learning 3-digit addition.
our formula, 0 plus -9 divided by 2, 8 plus 4 divided by 2 gives us -9 halves
How do you carry the one?
and 6. So -9 halves is like -4.5. So halfway between -4 and -5 at 6. There's the midpoint of our church and schools. Again, smack dab in the middle.
Wait, where did you put it? Oh, I got the negative part.
What is the
Wait, what's 9 2?
Wait, where?
-9 halves is 4.5. Yeah.
Very good, very nice.
So 4.5. Evelyn, Ellen, does it make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Evelyn, good. Okay.
Questions?
Questions on those three? Just using the midpoint formula for what it's really designed for. Okay. That bottom question says, what is the endpoint B of segment AB with A at -10, 6 and the midpoint at 14, -2? So in this case, we've got this segment here. Okay? Here's A. Here's B. We know that point A is at -10, 6. And in the middle, I'm going to do my best to put it in the middle here, okay, is point M, and we know that this point is at 14, -2. It doesn't matter so much that, I mean, if we were to plot this, it wouldn't be a horizontal line. That's not the important thing. The important thing here is to look at the coordinates and understand the relationship. Okay, the relationship is A is where the segment starts, this is the middle, here's where it ends. Who's got a strat for that can help us determine the endpoint? Hugo, what do you see?
You take the difference of the 14 and the -10, and then you multiply by 2 and add it to -10.
Okay, so how far did we go? How far did we go to get from an x value of -10? You're gonna want to listen to this Christopher, okay? How far did we go to get from an x value of negative 10 to an x value of positive 14? 24.
Sorry.
Right? Which means to get from this middle x value to the end x value, how far are we going to go? Another 24. And so what is the x value of point B?
48 plus 30.
38. I will repeat that. Remember, the midpoint is the average, it's the middle. If we traveled this far to get to the middle, we have that far to go to get to the end.
How do you get 24?
Hold up. Just let me cook. Let me cook. Okay? If we traveled this far to get to the middle, we have to go that far again to get to the end.
48?
Yeah, why would it be 38?
Because this is negative 10.
Mario!
Just let him cook.
It's negative 10.
We're almost out of time, so if you want me to explain this, listen up. Again, if we went this far to get to the middle, we have to go that far to get to the end. So we look at the x values and we say, how far did we go on x to get from negative 10 to positive 14? A total distance of 24. Right?
How do you get from 6 to negative?
Hold on. We went a distance of 24, which means we've got to go a distance of 24 again to get to the end of the segment. So if we are at 14 and we go 24, that's what brings us to 38. Okay? Lika, how far on a number line is negative 10 from 14? How far on a number line is negative 10 to 14?
Like 25.
No, 24. That's halfway there. We have to go 24 again on the x to get to the end point, so 14 plus 24 is 38. Okay? For the y's, how far did we go? Negative 8, right? 6 to negative 2 is negative 8. So if we went negative 8 with the y, I shouldn't write this as ordered pairs, but it's the concept. If we went negative 8 to get halfway there, how far do we have to go to get to the end? Negative 8. What's negative 2 minus 8? Negative 10. Okay? Negative 10.
What's the process?
Okay? Your assignments from the textbook is, let's see.
Oh yeah, it's due Monday.
It is due on Monday, that is correct.
It's due on Monday.
Two on Monday? Alright.
So tomorrow, I read the day. College Caddies, you might go for about that.
No, hold on.
On page 19, 17 through 22.
Don't start with me with that.
17 through 22 on page 19, and then 25 through 30.
Odd period.
Like we're
Alright, that is all. 12 questions for you to do.
I have a question
Yeah.
for you. So, if 12, how do you get 12 questions? That's 10.
Oh,
Operation gets you.
What's that?
This might be the hardest.
25, 26, 27.
Okay, never mind. Daniel, look for the number game.
Folks, that's how you man.